everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 24th, 2026. Phyllis knocked Matt Clark over the head with an 18-ounce water bottle. And he was out cold. Oh my goodness. I have so many questions. Was there water in it? Was there water in that bottle? Because let's say it was stainless steel. And let's say that it was full, just for argument's sake, because it really didn't look full. I'm wondering, would that really be enough to knock out a full-grown man long enough to hog-tie him with the bed sheets? And I think that is a really apt way of describing it, because Matt Clark literally is like a prize pig right now. Practically everyone in town is competing for the right to slaughter him. I really thought that Phyllis was trying to be his friend, but the second she found out who he really was, all bets were off. And I can't entirely say that I blame her, because I definitely would not want to be friends with a rapist drug dealer. But, this is the new Matt Clark. This isn't the old Matt Clark. This is the new Matt Clark. And I have to admit, it really broke my heart to watch him learning those facts about himself. I mean, it was almost like he wanted to just tear that thought right out of his head physically, as if he could just not stand the thought that that is the kind of person that he is, because that's not how he feels now. He's not that kind of person anymore. It was heartbreaking. And I hate to admit it, because I both love him and hate him. And it's a very compelling combo. I mean, I've noticing that week after week, everything having to do with Matt Clark is like my top story. It's the thing that I can't wait to talk about. But Phyllis has been kind of replaced this week. There was no way, realistically, that Phyllis was ever going to get what she wanted out of this situation. She had Matt hogtied, and then Patty convinced the maid to let her in to Matt's room. And then when they both walked in, Matt was on the floor, tied up with his ankles tied together, his hands behind his back, and Patty scrambled together an excuse that Matt was her husband and they're just into kinky stuff. know, kinky stuff. Like knocking each other out and tying each other up with the bed sheets. Oh my. That maid was into it. I'm telling you right now, did you see the look on her face? She is going to go home tonight, knock her husband over the head, tie him up, and see if he likes it. I finally feel like Patty is living up to her promise. When I heard that Patty was coming back to Y&R, I had certain expectations, and they were delivered immediately, but then not so much. But I finally feel this week like she is giving me that classic mix of villain and vulnerability. And that is also a compelling combo, much like with Matt Clark. They're a strangely perfect pair. There were points in the week where Patty was being so reasonable, so rational, so sincere. Like when she was trying to help Matt. But then, this is what Patty does. This is always her pattern. She starts to feel rejected by Matt, and then the villain starts to peek out. And now she's turning him into Victor. She's called Victor at the very end of Friday's show, saying, "Oh, you looking for Matt Clark? Because I know where he is." All because he wasn't trusting her enough, you know? He wasn't giving her enough attention. He wasn't returning her affection in the appropriate amount that she was looking for. I mean, that is obsession. That's the same thing that she did with Jack. It's the same thing she always does with Jack. That tells me, look out, Jack. She sent him a bouquet of flowers with a card, pretty much out of the blue. I mean, who does that? They had one conversation at Society last week where it was cordial. You know, it was better. It was not hateful. And then she follows it up with flowers. I don't know. I think those flowers are a very tangible warning that Jack is playing a dangerous game on more than one level. This week, Jack told Nikki that he had proof that Patty had told him that Victor was behind the yacht kidnapping completely. Like everything from A to Z, right down to the marina sticker on the car that took him away, so that Diane would be led right to him, right to the yacht, lying right next to Patty. And I have to admit, I had absolutely no problem believing that. I was fooled completely. I absolutely believe that Victor was capable of pulling it all off down to the tiniest detail. Nikki, on the other hand, though, she was actually skeptical, which is shocking kind of still, considering everything her husband has done over the years. I am surprised that anyone could tell her anything that Victor has done and she would still bat an eye. But it's not true. Turns out it's not true, or at least we don't have proof of it. Jack later told Kyle that he had embellished the details, meaning he made it up. He gave Nikki the version of the story that sounded plausible, his theory of it all. And now in the previews, Nikki is in her GCAC hotel room suite, seemingly just waking up with a suspicious headache. Oh no. Are we about to get a double whammy relapse? Nick and Nikki off the wagon at the same time? Nikki went out to the ranch this week to call a truce with Victor for their son's sake, to try to keep the family peace and just keep everybody reunited while Nick is going through his drug detox. Nikki rightly understands that relapse is part of the recovery process, and she also realized that Jack might be a better sponsor for Nick. Well, number one, because he's an opioid addict, and that's very specific, and maybe Nick would be better having a sponsor who understands that, the particulars of that craving. But number two, because Nikki knows, I think, that this could become a trigger for her. She's been on and off the wagon enough times to know that this is something that could push her further than she intends to go. The problem is, I seem to remember from my retro recap about Nikki and Jack in that hotel room night, that Jack becoming Nikki's sponsor is what ended up leading to both of them having that drug and alcohol fueled hotel room bender, that whole debaucherous night together. I mean, Jack was so out of it that Nikki had to call the paramedics, and guess who walked in on the aftermath? Ooh-wee. Yeah, that retro recap is at yrchat.com and on YouTube if you want to watch it. And now Jack's going to become Nick's sponsor. And Nick is collapsing in the previews for next week. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I loved the conversation that Nick and Victoria had this week. We haven't seen those two together in a while, but I really enjoy the bond that they have. I enjoy the back and forth, the dialogue that they have. I enjoy the way that Victoria just seems able to see right through him. And that is not easy, because Nicholas Newman is very charming. He's Mr. Chill, showing videos of his missing child, Christian, doing the Superman dance challenge. And at the same time, out of the other side of his mouth, lying to her about getting treatment. Nick is very convincing when he wants to be. A lot of addicts are. But then there's this whole other dark side that's lurking around every corner. I mean, every time Nick secretly takes a pill or one, slips out of his pocket and onto the floor for everyone in public to see, he wants Matt Clark dead. And even though he's now switched to telling Sharon and Noah that he's given up on that, I don't buy it at all. I think this is just more covering. I mean, he's covering the drug addiction. He's covering this murderous desire. And I think that it is all in his drug-laden mind, part of a master plan. And it's a master plan that includes going around Victor and trying to make a deal with Phyllis. If Phyllis gives Matt Clark to Christine, then maybe Christine will drop the charges against Phyllis. Yeah, right. Phyllis was absolutely right to walk away from that negotiation. Nick met with Christine and she guessed exactly what's going on right away. And now I don't know what Nick is going to do. Because if Matt turns up dead or even wounded, Phyllis isn't going to be the only one facing charges. Speaking of the Superman dance, one of the number one comments that I see Y&R fans posting over and over again is, what happened to Christian Newman? Where is he? Every time he comes up on screen, I see that comment over and over again. Nick has mentioned him now 2 weeks in a row. But did you know that we have not seen Christian Newman on screen in 6 years? 6 years! Connor and Johnny and Katie, they have all been on screen. But for some reason, Christian continues to stay hidden. And I said to myself, Allie, this is a retro recap topic. Man, Christian is not just some off-screen kid. He has got a history that is more twisted than most of the full-grown adults on the show. Up to and including the fact that he was switched at birth and raised by Sharon. Does the name Sully ring a bell for any of ya? And I mean, let's not forget the fact that Nick is not his biological father. Christian's biological father is someone else who we see every day. Do you remember who? If you're curious about where Christian is, you got to check out that retro recap this week at yrchat.com or search it out on YouTube. And while you're there, I think we should put a poll on this. Should Y&R bring back Christian Newman? Maybe it's time to age him up and give him a summer teen story? Cast your vote on that one at yrchat.com. Billy came hopping onto the Kane train this week. Found Kane in his bed, recovering in his cream tracksuit and long white socks. I swear, I think this might be the first time that I have ever seen him wearing socks. Usually he's sockless. And in his loafers. It's a signature look that I associate with him. Oh well. Maybe Lily can peel his socky walkies off of him when she gets back. From Malcolm's successful surgery in New York. Wow. That happened quick. Well, Billy is worried about the blowback from the AI scandal ruining his carnival wedding with Sally. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that maybe carnival is not the right theme for the wedding. From everything she has said about it, it's not all happy memories for her. It's one of those things that's easy to associate with Sally Spectra, the carnival theme, but every time she talks about that part of her past, it's not happiness. So carnival theme out. I think it's time to make some new memories with this wedding. And I think the idea of having her ride in on an elephant is a really good, solid start. I want Pietro! The second Billy said the words wedding planner, my ears perked up like a mouse in an anthropomorphic soap opera novel. But then he said that Pietro is not available, which I find unfair and disappointing. But I love the idea that the Newmans still have a deposit on the elephant. Man. We went from having a carnival to Pietro to an elephant, and now we're probably going to wind up at society or, in Billy's living room for a small but fully pregnant wedding in October. I do love a fall wedding, though. So I'm hoping, maybe we can have some crisp, cozy, romantic autumn wedding vibes to look forward to. Claire and Holden are sizzling. Man. Whew. There is nothing like new dad's successful life-saving surgery to turn a couple right on. I mean, really? They're hot, but I honestly think Y&R just thought, nobody's had sex in a while. The show's getting a little stale. And then they went into the office, spun the wheel, and said, Claire, Holden, all right, you're up. It's your turn. Thank you, though. It was very satisfying. I am not complaining. I am just kind of surprised because the whole tone around it was it's so celebratory. As if the surgery solves everything. The transplant just solves everything immediately. I don't know. I thought it was weird that Malcolm had champagne sent to Holden's hotel room. Malcolm doesn't even strike me as a champagne kind of guy. He's so serious now. Every time we've seen him, he's so serious. Like maybe 20 years ago, he was a player, partier. But that Malcolm feels long gone. And the whole scene with Lily and Stephanie needling Holden over his feelings for Claire. It was funny. It was funny. It just was, it's jarring. It just felt a little out of place to me because we're, you know, inside of this situation where there's all of this grave concern and then champagne. Although maybe that's, you know, maybe the grave concern is so much that we just got to take any celebrations that we can get. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably it. But is Malcolm guaranteed out of the woods now? I'm still over here concerned about Malcolm. But I guess the bigger victory, the bigger story is that Holden has a dad and a family and a sweet new leather motorcycle jacket babe to go along with it. Boy, that jacket saw a lot of action. It was on him, it was on her, it was on the floor, then it was out the door. Devon and Mariah blew me away. They were so good. I mean, in a week where a lot of things were so good, just honing in on that overdue conflict resolution between those two, it was exactly what I needed. It was so compelling. I mean, of all the scenes, that was the one where I was like, no, let me really see everything here. Because Devon shows up at the hospital to visit Mariah, and the first thing he does is slide an envelope across the table. And I honestly thought that was going to be, well, one of two things, either a court order or a payoff of some kind. And it was neither. It actually ended up being a hand-drawn get well soon card from Dom to Mariah. I never would have guessed that. Never. Because for as angry as Devon has been, he easily could have just tossed that card right into the trash. And he had a right to. He would have had a right to. He does not need to facilitate communication and connection between his son and his kidnapper. But this is Genoa City, and you know, these characters' lives are intertwined, whether they like it or not. And I think Devon must just have realized that he needed to make sense out of all of this, or at least to make peace with it. And I just found their conversation to be so incredible, so well written, so well acted, and I connected with, I empathized with them both. You know, Mariah feels so ashamed and so broken, and she knows that she has failed her own child in all of this. And then Devon admitted that that's really what's behind his anger. He feels like he failed his son by letting the kidnapping happen in the first place. And so that became the common thread. Both of the actors just really brought it. They are clearly excellent scene partners. Mariah was so good, so compelling. And Bryton James, boy, he just really reminds me of Christophe St. John in a lot of ways. I imagine that Brighton probably really looked up to Kristoff and probably learned a lot from him. And still, all these years later, it feels sometimes like he's carrying Neil's essence on the screen. There are things in life more important than money and power. Well, I don't believe that for a second. There are things in life more important than money and power. Who in the heck on The Young and the Restless would have said that? If you want to find out, go to yrchat.com. Let's read some comments, starting with Connie, who says, Mariah was stunning, and her hair and makeup was fabulous. Devon rocked that leather jacket and channeled his inner Victor to bring on the fury and indignation. He was equally impressive as the kind-hearted father that honored a promise to his son to deliver that card to Mariah. Such a great emotional scene, an excellent portrayal of accountability and forgiveness struggles that families must endure when dealing with criminal justice cases. Wow, Connie, yeah. I mean, because, if you come right down to it, I guess it's not that they're as much that they're friends, but like in a way they're family, in the same way that kind of everybody in Genoa City, all of our characters are kind of family. Like, you can't just divorce yourself from these other characters that are in your world when you're on The Young and the Restless. You have to find that path toward forgiveness. And you're right, like Devon's rage was so palpable, and as was Mariah's guilt, and the fact that it wasn't just Devon coming there to rip on Mariah, and it wasn't just Mariah apologizing 100 different times. Like, that scene had it was 3D. I mean, you really couldn't. It was all around. I got a full sense of Mariah. I got a full sense of Devon. I got a full sense of this messed up situation, and just the icky stickiness of the necessity to work it out. Sherrod says, I am just waiting for when the writers make Dominic Mariah's son. Then Devon and Mariah can get back together. I really did like them as a couple. Yeah, Sherrod, they just seem to have chemistry. And maybe that's what I was, thinking or picking up on. Because they just feel like when they're in a scene together, they're both really listening. Like, I had that sense of, these are two people listening and responding. It felt very present. The scene felt very present, and I think that's what made it so darn effective. Diana says, unfortunately, I'm behind this week, but I'd like to talk about my pet peeve on this show, which is when we see what is supposed to be a picture or a writing that a child has done, when clearly you can tell it's been done by an adult, to look as though a child has done it. It never looks authentic. This week I'm referring to the letter Dominic gave Mariah. The letter did not look like a child's writing. Y&R should have the actor who plays Dominic write the message, or someone else's kid who works for Y&R to do it, so it looks real and believable. We saw this before with the family photo that Faith supposedly drew as a kid, which Sharon used to have on display at the house. Oh yeah, Diana, and we had the Cassie had an original drawing too, didn't she? That is such a soap trope. The child's drawing. That tickles me. Yeah, because I remember Cassie had one, Faith had one. And yeah, the card from Dominic. I guess they just we have to make this readable on screen. T. Nicole says, all I kept thinking during those scenes was, with Mariah and Devon, was that this facility must also offer beauty treatments, because Mariah looked so beautiful. Mariah is officially at the mental health facility / spa. Yeah, her hair was great. She looked very trim. She had, I can't remember what exactly she was wearing, but I kept thinking it looked like it was well fitting. She looked glowing, absolutely glowing. And frankly, yeah, Devon looked great in that leather jacket. They both looked very good. Mariah definitely looked like she's ready to come back on screen. So when is she fully going to be back? Was the larger purpose of that scene to be a bridge to when Mariah is released and walking around in GC again? I think so. Well, Gary says, has a recent chat comment caused Nikki's MS to flare again? Oh, I think that's a comment in response to that preview where Nikki's got her mystery headache. And Victoria says, is someone poisoning the Newmans? Wow. Okay, so maybe if I'm interpreting that correctly, then we're all interpreting what is the meaning of Nikki's headache. Is it part of an illness? Is it part of a poisoning? I thought it was part of a relapse, primarily because that was what she was talking with Jack about. And she even said, you know, I'm worried that this is going to become a trigger for me. And then Jack had said, you know, he told Kyle, I hope I didn't push Nikki too far. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe Nikki had tied one off secretly. And now in the preview, she's waking up with the evidence of it. Oh, Tony with the most important comment of the week. Ooh, that little hook under the table for Nikki's purse. Tony, yes! When it was like freaking magic. It was like a magic trick. She slipped that purse onto that hook, and it was almost like it was floating there. Like it just was levitating. And I'm like, is there a hook there? When did that hook get there? Did they put that hook there just for this purse? And if so, we have to keep it there. A lot of times they'll, you know, drape it over the back of the chair, but when you've got a little handbag, a little clutcheroo, what are you supposed to? That purse was like a little box. Like, okay, so hold up. A purse with a strap, you can put it over the back of the chair. A clutch, a flat clutch, you can set it on the table and it doesn't get in the way in the camera. But Nikki had that little box purse. If she would have set it on the table, it was gonna distract from the scene. It was gonna get into the shot. So I bet you they put that hook there special so that she could carry that purse. Yes. And thank you for mentioning it, Tony. See, those are the little tiny details of why Y&R Chat exists. Because you see those little things on screen and you want to tell somebody, the hook! You guys, the hook! Well, that's why you come here. So we can discuss the purse hook. Victoria says, Jack's opinion of Victor was pretty bleak. He was trying to convince Nikki that Nick's addiction and her happiness don't matter to Victor. If Nikki wants to find common ground with Victor to help Nick, she should avoid Jack's table for a while. Yeah, you know, in that scene, it ended with Jack saying Victor doesn't care about anyone but himself. And then, you know, this ominous close-up of Victor, and then we panned down to the portrait on the desk. And it totally had the effect of making me think, oh, Jack's right. And Victor really did do all of that, and he just doesn't care. And then it turned out not to be true. And then we followed it up on Friday with Michael talking to Nikki and saying, well, you know, he was basically just like, don't you know that everything Victor does, he does for you? And you're his family, and how could you leave him? It felt a little guilt trippy coming from Michael. If I was Nikki, I'd be like, back off. It's my marriage, and I didn't ask for your opinion on it. Russell says, I thought I missed some confirmed details about Victor's involvement in the yacht kidnapping when Jack was telling Nikki what he found out from Patty. Now I see that Jack made some of it up. I'm surprised he lied to Nikki. When she finds out, she will be heartbroken. Jack will only have Patty left if he isn't careful. Patty is not going anywhere where Jack is concerned. Yeah, so Jack totes lied to Nikki. I'm just thinking that he's going to feel so guilty if she ends up getting pushed off the wagon because of that information that he gave her. I'm also wondering what's up with Diane in the previews. Frankly, I was a little confused when Jack said that he hasn't heard from Diane because I thought she left him a voicemail last week. I know she went on to have that dream, but I thought the voice, in fact, I watched it twice, because I wanted to know if the voicemail she left right before was part of the dream or if it actually happened. And the way I viewed it, she actually left him a voicemail saying she wanted to talk. And now that voicemail's gone. He's saying he hasn't talked to her at all. And then in the previews for next week, Kyle is saying she's missing. Her bed hasn't been slept in. So I don't know. Could Patty have anything to do with it? Naomi says, Patty is winning me over. She's so pretty today with her hair swept up and the big gold jewelry. And the snakeskin skirt, the green snakeskin skirt, as if we're not supposed to read anything into that styling. Victoria says, Patty is quite a hoot. This reformed Patty is funny and smart. When she first arrived on the boat, I dreaded seeing her on my screen, but I am won over. Can't wait to see what Patty and Matt will be up to next. Yes, they are a bizarre little couple, aren't they? I thought it was going to be Phyllis and Matt, but maybe it's Patty and Matt. Russell says, oh no, Matt, not more head trauma. On Gilligan's Island, the second coconut bonk brings back the former personality. Russell, that is my favorite. That is the funniest comment of the week, no doubt. On Gilligan's Island, the second coconut bonk brings back the former. Yeah. Coconut 1, oh no, you're a new person, but Coconut 2, now you're back. Oh boy, but that didn't happen with Matt. You were right to question it, but that didn't happen with Matt. It should have. I didn't even think of that. That did not even pass through my mind, but you're so astute, because it should have passed through my mind that the second hit on the head is what could have brought him back to his villainry. And maybe that's a sign that Y&R's just not headed in that direction. Maybe whatever change they're making to him, it is going to be permanent in some fashion. Michelle says, Matt is being such a lovable loser. The actor that plays him must be ad-libbing with such skill. It's adorable. I love when a villain can be lovable too. To say, owie, about the bump on his head Phyllis gave him. Stay sweet, Matt, at least for a little bit longer. Michelle, owie! His head hurts. He needs a bigger hat because his head hurts. T. Nicole says, this is such a bizarre twist with Matt Clark. When he was the villain, I never saw him as an attractive love interest. This Matt 2.0, the nice Matt, who doesn't know who he is, well, I could easily see him as a love interest. At this point, I would love nice Matt long term more than bad villain Matt. I want to reach the point where he says, I'm just not that person anymore. I think we're nearing it. I really do. I think this is permanent. I asked you guys last week, Phyllis and Matt, hot or not? 70% say hot. Tony says, Matt hot, Phyllis hot, Why not? Perfect answer, Tony. I would like to see some anti-Newman plotting first. Then, when she finds out he was responsible for Nick's drug problem, which she doesn't know about yet, she'll turn on Matt and save the day for Nick. Oh, you know what, Tony? It's interesting because you would have thought Matt and Phyllis were going to team up against the Newmans, and she turned on him instead the second she found out who exactly he was. Connie says, I'm a huge not. I'm definitely enjoying their banter and connection, but he is not in her league. Her hookup with Kane felt forced, and this does too. I'm thinking she might be the one to help Nick with the addiction, just like she did for Jack, and they can rekindle those old flames and feelings and passions. They were hot back in the day, and that fire could bring on the steamy love scenes that we love. You know what? I feel like the only partner who has ever felt like in Phyllis's league is Nick. I can't think of anyone else that has ever met her fire. Kane and Phyllis were hot for a minute, but to me, she was always needy with him. But I guess in retrospect, she got pretty needy with Nick too. She was always struggling to hold on to him. Maybe it's time for Phyllis and Nick to get a real chance, though. Well, Marianne V says, I did say Matt and Phyllis are hot together, but Phyllis is only using him. She'll turn him over to the Newmans if they meet her demands, and I don't think she'll give the company back to Victor. Nick will try to kill Matt, but he's on drugs and in no shape to do anything. Yeah, I know it. Brent has a good point here saying, why wouldn't Victor have one of his security team members follow Phyllis? She would lead them straight to Matt's apartment. End of story. I mean, I guess that's why, to draw the story out, but still. Yeah, at least Nick was smart enough to follow her. I mean, Victor could have thought of that. Daisy says, now that Matt has betrayed Patty, she might end up doing more to him than calling Victor. She doesn't seem healed. Maybe she's actually escaped. Also, after being knocked out by Phyllis, maybe Matt will start to regain his memory and end up going after the Newmans all over again. But before that, Matt could find his way to the hospital and ask for help. And since Nick is due for his mother's intervention, maybe he'll end up in rehab. Then, being in the same hospital as Matt, Nick may try to get his revenge against him before Patty tries to get hers. That is. You know what, Daisy, though? We don't know for sure that Patty has been released. What are we basing that off of? Her word? That is probably the greatest little tiny hole of the week that I didn't fill in with my own mind. Yeah, I mean, maybe she's not out on good behavior or whatever. She could easily be escaped and lying to everyone. Robin says, I think Matt and Patty will be staying on as main characters. Maybe it's a couple. I hope Matt keeps his new personality. I love the actor and his sweet side. He's very funny too. Keep him, Y&R. Maybe he will save Nick's life from an overdose and that'll change everyone's attitude. Or save someone important to the Newmans. Wishful thinking, maybe. I love his new wardrobe. Thumbs up for preppy Matt. Give him Kyle's plaid sweater. Only in blue tones. Yes, I'm wearing my Matt Clark blue this week. It was just so striking to see him, in his blue shirt. Of course, did he have something? He had on khakis or something, too. Maybe he had on a different outfit at the end of the week. But I do really like your point, Robin, that there's every possibility that Matt will be the one to somehow save Nick and thus launch his redemption story. Russell says, don't you hate it when your drugs fall out of your pocket onto the floor in public and you can barely scoop them up before your sister sees them? I know, right? Russell also says, Nick is still super thirsty. I looked it up, and dry mouth, dehydration, and thirst are all side effects of fentanyl. Sometimes I worry about what it might look like to someone if they were to check my Google searches. Y&R has me looking up some crazy stuff. You need an incognito mode. Incognito mode, Russell. Victoria says, great scene between Nick and Victoria today. Nick is being Mr. Chill, and it alerted Victoria's spidey sense. Glad she was persistent in her questioning. Nick's drug addiction is very serious. He could overdose again or take tainted meds. It doesn't seem plausible that Sharon, Noah, Adam, or Nikki hasn't accompanied Nick to an outpatient appointment. Instead, they're allowing Nick to distract himself with catching Matt Clark. Nick and his family should put Nick's welfare first. There are plenty of people to find Matt Clark. As the airlines tell you when flying, put your own mask on first before a child's mask. If Nick hasn't begun his own treatment, how is he going to be able to act rationally enough to catch a villain? The chatters don't want this addiction story to resolve with little effort, but let's get Nick in for his first appointment. Yeah, Victoria, because he didn't even try, and no one in the family is actually holding him accountable, right? They're all just like, he's talking funny, and he said he went to rehab, so... Brent says, author Stephen King, a recovering addict himself, says that addicts always lie, and they become very good at it. This storyline seems realistic. I was hoping Victoria would say what she was thinking out loud. You're lying to me, Nick. Why didn't you go to your first therapy session? And you're still using. Do you think Victoria totally got it? And do you think Victoria will follow up on it next week? I think so. I mean, the walls have got to be closing in here. Victoria she knows her brother enough to know at the very least that he's hiding something. And Nick's hip to it, Adam's hip to it, Nikki has got her own stuff to add to it. So I think that the Newmans are going to be staging a little intervention for Nick coming up. Connie says, what's up with Victoria's hair? New styling or color, wig, extensions, something else. I just can't figure it out. I keep looking at it too. And I keep asking myself, is it just a blowout? Is it just dark hair on top of pale skin and a whole lot of volume? Because I have this little thing, I'm showing it on camera right now. It's like, I don't even think it was made for hair volume. But if I take this, it's like a little thing you hold in your hands and it's like spiky. I got it for my daughter to help her get in, like scrub her scalp, to work the shampoo into her scalp and all that. And she stopped using it and I was like, well, let me give this thing a try. It feels pretty good. And like, if I put this thing up into my hair, it gives me volume like I can't even handle. Like it's an embarrassing amount of volume, which is why I don't use it, but it also gives me static electricity. But that is what I am using to feed my theory that it's just volume. They've got an incredible amount of volume on there, and it's making it look helmety. It's making it look like they just sat the hair on top of her head. It's beautiful though. Hey, how about Claire talking to her mom in bed just minutes after having that hot sex with Holden? That was a cozy moment. Connie says, I thought the Winters jacket was an odd or awkward gift for Holden. I know Malcolm is his father and the Winters family has graciously welcomed him, but his dad was the man that raised him. There's a huge difference between being a father and being a dad. I'm probably being old school, but Novak is his last name and that should be honored. Yeah, Connie, and like to boot, really, what right does Claire have to adorn him a Winters? If the jacket had come from Lily, then that would have been a different story, but that jacket was just a sex prop. Well, I do have a very special birthday shout out this week. Happy 18th birthday to Y&R Chat. What? 18 years ago, May 26th, 2028 was the first Y&R Chat video on YouTube. I have an 18-year-old baby. Y&R Chat can vote now. Incredible. Amazing. Unbelievable. And it's funny timing too, because I just went back into the YouTube channel and created playlists for every single year from 2008 all the way up into now. I just put all the videos for that year in one unit. So there's like, there's usually like 51 or 52. Although in the very early days, I did Y&R Chat in parts. They were usually 3 parts because YouTube had a 15-minute upload limit. And so I had to like post one 15-minute in 3 sections, 15, 15, and 15. Oh, how times have changed. YouTube was only like 3 years old at that point, so it was very early on in the process, and then came the podcast, I think 2 years later in 2010, and then came the website, maybe a year after that, somewhere around then, and then, I mean, I guess the rest is just history. Week after week. Month after month, year after year. 18 years. Thank you to everyone who has been with me from the beginning, and I know there are several of you out there. And thanks to everybody who jumped on along the way. I think we've had a good journey of speaking about Y&R together every week, and I can't see it ending anytime soon. I'm really just doing more and more. I think I've sort of discovered my love of storytelling again, as is obvious through the Fauna and the Flora, but also the retro recaps, which to me is like going back, finding those most memorable Y&R stories and sort of retelling them through my lens, through a modern lens, representing them. And I really do put research and thought and time into those, and I think they're turning out very well. And I just realized, like, oh, I just love drama. I just love stories. And I think somehow over the course of 18 years, I've managed to develop some presentation skills. So I think I'm putting them together in kind of a fun way that I think is it's entertaining to watch. So if you haven't seen any of that, you can always go to yrchat.com, and if you got some spare time, hit through that retro recap playlist. If you got 10 hours to spare, the Fauna and the Flora is available on Amazon. Audible is the audiobook. If you have Audible credits, I think it's like 99 cents if you go through Amazon. They're the host for the audiobook. I wouldn't have any other way of delivering those large files. So those go through Amazon Audible, and I think it is like 99 cents. You can go to restlessforce.com. There's a link right there that'll take you to it if you have time to spare over the summer and just kind of want to listen to something in the car. It's complete, and as a matter of fact, I am 3 chapters away from finishing the first draft of the second book of the Fauna and the Flora. So that's pretty exciting. I have been writing it since Christmas. Cannot believe I'm finally coming into the final big dramatic scenes, so that's very exciting for me too, to finally wrap it up. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. I might need to take just like come back out of it for a couple of weeks and then go into my second draft editing and I'm looking forward to doing another audiobook, because having the chance to do the voices was a lot of fun for me. And now that I have done the first one, I can very clearly hear what the second one's going to be. It's all very clear. It's just a matter of getting to that finish line. And I've gotten so much good feedback about it. And really, you know, all of the whole body of work in general over the course of 18 years, I feel like it's improving. I actually feel like I'm getting better at all of it, and that's what I want to be. That's kind of what the goal is. I want to continue to hone and improve this strange skill and this very slim sliver of interest that I have. I mean, there's nowhere else where you're gonna find 18 years of the same person talking on camera about The Young and the Restless. No one else is making a library of these of similar retro recap videos. No one else has ever written an anthropomorphic soap opera in a book. So I know my lane. I'm really honing in on that specific little drive down the journey of life. And I thank you all so much for being here with me through it. Come back again next Sunday and we will just keep going. Oh, I love you guys. Have a good day. Have a good week. And I'll see you next time. Bye.